Hello, 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 and welcome. I'm Sheila Balgobin, known as the Dream Decipherer, and this is Dream Your Life, Live Your Dream Live, where we talk about all things dreams. So, today's subject, it looks at animals and the significance or possible significance that they may have in our dreams. Now, to see animals in our dreams represents our own physical characteristics or perhaps primitive desires and sexual nature, depending on the qualities of the particular animal that you're dreaming about. We have a tendency to anthropomorphize or give human qualities to animals, but they actually can symbolize the untamed and more uncivilized aspects of ourselves. So if you're dreaming about fighting with an animal of some kind, it may mean that you're rejecting and trying to push away and forget about some part of yourself that you don't find palatable for whatever reason. So some of the clues that we can get about what the meaning of animals in our dreams can be found in our daily language. The everyday expressions that we use without even thinking. I mean, to give you a couple of examples, we call somebody a dirty rat, or a person has the memory of an elephant or the heart of a lion. You might tell somebody, stop being such a pig, or they're as slow as a tortoise when you've got things to do. And we talk about man's best friend all the time. So even just using those expressions, common expressions, can give us some clues as to what our dreams are trying to tell us. And according to biblical scholars, animals in a dream can represent a variety of things. It could be spiritual forces, personal characteristics, and even prophetic messages. To give you an example, a lion in a dream may represent strength and courage, while a lamb represents innocence and purity. So one of the ways, again, that the role of animals and what they're trying to communicate to us in a dream can be looked at from these kind of biblical images and metaphors that may be forming part of your dream. You also have to look at things like myths, legends, something like Aesop's fables, which have animals acting like humans, to provide clues as to what the animal is representing or the message that they're trying to present to the dreamer. Now, I remember from a client of mine many years ago who didn't grow up with animals and wasn't particularly fond of them, but kept dreaming about dogs. And when she went to a therapist, not myself, but someone else, because we were friends and it's unethical for me to work with friends, she mentioned to the therapist that she had been reading Jewish religious texts. And if you think about it, Hebrew is written from, and other Semitic languages are written from right to left. And so if you look at dog written backwards, what do you get? God. And this client was in the final stages of illness, and the meaning of man's best friend took on a new meaning with this writing of things from right to left, and this dreams about dogs. So she was hanging on, if you will, to man's best friend, which, if you're religious, that is God. So you also have to remember that our dreams also have our particular culture, whether it's family culture or wider societal culture, also have an influence about how we view animals and what their significance might be. So depending on if you're in one culture, a dog may be seen as something dirty and filthy, whereas in another culture, they may be seen as a sign of loyalty. So all of these things can come into play when we're trying to decipher what an animal in a dream may mean. Now, I know personally when I work with a client in their dreams, if it, I look at all kinds of things to get an idea of what maybe what is being communicated by the dream. So it may be it may be myths, legends, the person's culture, whether the micro family culture or the wider societal culture. So dreams are always occurring in the context of an individual's life. So, and all of these factors come into play when you're looking at a dream. Now, for example, if there's an animal that's talking in a dream, it may represent that the animal and whatever value we assign to it, it may be representing superior knowledge of some kind or instinctive knowledge. The animal's message is often offering some kind of wisdom to the dreamer. Perhaps dreaming that you're saving the life of an animal may suggest that someone has successfully acknowledged their emotions and characteristics that the animal represents. And a dream may also stem from our feelings of inadequacy or feeling overwhelmed. Now, for example, if you're setting an animal free, it may indicate that it's a release of your own primal or natural desires rather than repressing them or ignoring them. Now, lab animals are a bit different. I mean, you think of lab animals or a captured or cornered animal and how they would feel. Perhaps that's suggesting that there's somewhere in your life that you feel trapped, that you're unable to express yourself fully, you're not able to share your emotions and your desires in an open and honest way. But it also can suggest that you may need to experiment a little bit and take a closer look at your fears, your choices, and even your beliefs. Now, we know that animals have no social conscience as we know it. They just do what comes naturally to them. So yes, they may, when you have a puppy, make a mess in the middle of your floor that you just mopped or something like that. They don't judge. They don't have opinions. They don't have moral values. So if dreaming about animals can and often represent our normal urges that break through our conscious minds, that place restrictions upon us and help us to get along in society by conforming to a certain extent. But if you're dreaming of being threatened or attacked by an animal, it could possibly mean that your emotions or behavior may have erupted or surfaced in a way that felt like it came out of nowhere, or it's something that it's shameful or needs to be eliminated or repressed. Now, if a dreamer hasn't owned up to a particular energetic signature, or they're ignoring their natural instincts, you could say, it could feel threatening. Now, if you're dreaming of animals and their teeth, baring their teeth, that's a defensive measure. I mean, think about it. I mean, humans don't have claws. They don't have, long canines or anything like that. They're rather defenseless, except that we use our minds to get ourselves out of danger. But if you're dreaming about an animal's teeth, there could be a sense that emotions or feelings that can cut into skin may be you're feeling threatened in some way, that there's something that's going to hurt you. So again, animals' claws and teeth and whatnot represent defense, to being able to defend oneself. Is that something that is prevalent in your life, that you're feeling exposed and defenseless? I know for me, some years ago when I was doing my psychotherapy training, I was dreaming a lot about black cats and wanting to kill them off. Now, I love animals, and in fact, I have a cat. So it's a bit unusual for me to dream of killing off any animal, much less a cat. But during this time, when I was having these dreams about these cats invading my space and making a mess of things, and I wanted to get rid of them, I was having difficulty with some of the tutors who were teaching my psychotherapy course. They just felt very intrusive. They made catty remarks. There you go with play on words, which is common. And I just wanted to get rid of them. I wanted to kill them off. And even my training therapist would laugh. She said, just keep killing them off in your dreams. Don't act it out in reality. I mean, I have to admit, sometimes my tutors made me feel like I wanted to wring their necks anyway. But there you go. So as frightening as these dreams may appear to us, they are a natural expression that kind of puts into opposition, or it frames your desire to be good and follow the rules. So remember that everyone and everything that appears in a dream is representing some aspect of ourselves and not necessarily being themselves. So that cat is not necessarily a cat. It's representing some natural animal instinct within us that is maybe being repressed or needs to be set free, or just needs to be acknowledged in some way. Now, you look at wild animals. Wild animals could be expressing a need to just express yourself and show your feelings in an unbridled and uncensored way. While domesticated animals show that can indicate that you're living in a conditioning with a sense of conditioning, that you have to act in a certain way and be brought to heel, to use an expression. Now, think about carnivorous animals like lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. They can represent our fear, perhaps, or of being eaten alive, of being swallowed up, if we, for whatever reason, give a full expression to our emotions. So, to use one of the earlier expressions that I mentioned, seeing elephants never forget and are enormously emotionally intelligent creatures. They may represent the power of your emotions to trample, because that's what elephants do, over the ideas that are holding you back or restricting you in some way. Now, often dreams about elephants can reveal long-held emotional pain that is surfacing, or dreaming about beasts of burden such as donkeys and oxen may represent being saddled or yoked to some kind of burdensome responsibility, a heavy load. While the animalness of the symbolism suggests that it may be unnatural. I mean, it's humans that impose these burdens on these creatures that are carrying the load, or that they're being restricted in some way, tamed and restricted and told what to do, in a sense. And maybe there's something in your life that feels like that feels heavy, restricted, that's a burden that others may be placing upon you, or you're placing upon yourself. Now, I referred to pigs, we talk about when pigs fly or acting like a pig. They can actually represent satisfaction and enjoyment, or greediness at the expense of all else. So in some myths, pigs may actually represent something sacred and represent the family, because they're very abundant. I mean, you think about a sow and how many piglets she may have. She may have like up to 20 piglets at a time. So it's about not only looking at the animal itself and what characteristics are attributed to the animal, but also how we feel about that. I mean, some people may think that pigs are filthy and nasty creatures, and to see one in their dreams may represent something that they feel is filthy and nasty in their lives or about themselves. So it's useful here to stop for a moment and remember that dreams work in metaphors. They work through metaphors as if. So, a lion may very well indicate bravery or someone who is lying about something. Again, dreams are very clever in how they present information. So it could be a play on words or synonyms or something that the dream is trying to communicate. So homonyms, plays on words, all kinds of things can also influence our perception of how we perceive an animal in our dreams. Now, if we look at domesticated animals such as like cows and bulls, they may represent territorial issues where the cow is motherly and kind of passive, which is actually not true. Cows can be very bullying with each other, whereas a bull may be considered to be a father-like figure and very aggressive. But this may have something to do with family life and how you perceive your parents, for example, or caregivers if they're not your actual parents, but you're in your extended family, maybe aunts and uncles or cousins or whomever. So these things, you have to look at these symbols, and they're all symbols, whether they're human or animal, and the larger context of your life in terms of what's going on in your life at the time. And again, remembering that this is as if. So to be able to take that information, all of those inputs, and bring them together and to tell your story. So the meaning of and significance of animals in dreams are as varied as the dreamers to whom they appear, which is why understanding oneself better is so important when it comes to understanding your dreams as well as recording your dreams on a regular basis, because as you record your dreams regularly, you start to notice the common themes or symbols that keep coming up and can understand what they actually mean for you. Again, like I said, a black cat in my dream is not going to mean the same thing as a black cat in your dream. So becoming familiar with those symbols is the best way to be able to understand them and understand the meaning of a dream. Whether you're talking about the symbol is as human, animal, vegetable, or mineral. So there you have it. I hope that gives you some thoughts about what animals may be doing in your dreams and what they mean for you. And if you'd like some help and assistance with trying to figure out what a dream, whether it has an animal or not, represents for you, you can always get in contact for a free consultation to get help with the dream, or if you're just having trouble sleeping, to also get some simple and effective sleep advice. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Have a great rest of the day and weekend, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.